Good night, and welcome to Mindful Live 462. I'm your co-host, your host Nathan Springer. Thank you for being here. Welcome. It is currently the 6th of the second month, the 6th of February in the year of our Lord 2025 AD, 2025 CE, according to how politically correct you might or might not be. Welcome nonetheless. Make sure you hit that like button, double tap the screen over there on TikTok if you're wondering how to hit the like button there. And you can hit it over and over, get those likes really pumping up so that the algorithm can see it. Otis says, I was avoiding social media today, couldn't handle the Beanie Man nonsense. Ha. Ramjat and Trace and the demolishing. Well, first up with the Beanie Man, I see a lot of people jumping on the Beanie Man thing, and I mean, sometimes you want a little nothing news, eh? Sometimes the heaviness, the theft of money, people bodies on the ground, somebody beheaded on Blanchisseuse Beach. Like, bro, what's going on? What is happening? Some Tobagonian guy is headless on the beach. What is this? Sometimes you're like, okay. Let me just talk about Beanie Man and doubles now. A little popcorn news, something light and fluffy that doesn't really give us any nutrients, but it doesn't kill us, you know. It's just there, a little popcorn news. Beanie Man do like doubles. I see the TTPSCA, is that how they, or TTSPCA? However you say that, the animal rights people now, the animal rights folks, I see they posted a video. Oh, Bobby, much love, sir. Bassa all the way. Yes. Old school Bassa, those good times of MSN. Once upon a time, I never missed a Bassa game. Good times. Yeah. Bassa make me forget even what I was talking about. But yeah, I saw the TTSPCA jumped in and showed a video of a dog eating doubles. So dogs do eat doubles. Maybe it's just those Jamaican dogs. Maybe it's just the Jamaican dogs that don't have a taste for doubles. But I was never in doubt that I know dogs eat doubles. I've seen it with my own eyes. I don't know, maybe he get a sour sweet sauce. Maybe he throw some roast pepper in the doubles and trade for the dog. And the dog decide, I'm not going through all of this nonsense. So, I don't know. But yeah, sometimes, you know, you want a little nothing news. And I guess that's what that was and is. It's something, you know, you could talk about and don't feel the controversy swelling around you. Like, I posted a video trying to explain at least my view on the whole Petrotrin business, and oh boy, is that still stirring up a hornet's nest. A lot of people are very vested in that Petrotrin thing. And I understand that it's not just the livelihood, the very lucrative livelihood of some, no. You see, you have the union and their narratives and their beliefs that is hinged on that, and then you have the entirety of the opposition that is hinging their wagon on showing that Petrotrin is part of the mismanagement of the PNM government. And that's especially true for the opposition and that Petrotrin business when you hear the Malcolm Jones stuff come in and they attempt to link the closure of Petrotrin in 2018 and link that straight back to the Malcolm Jones fiascos. The major investment projects that went nowhere. And you know, it's kind of strange to me. People tell me that the problem with Petrotrin is not that it was just giving money to too many people. No, it was just that the administrators were too corrupt, which meant that they were giving too much money to plenty people. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, the problem with Petrotrin was management, you know? Yes, that's the point. And the management wasn't going to change. And it's interesting. A lot of the recommendations for Petrotrin to have made more money and become viable were things, were things like what the PNM government and their executive chairman, Mr. Jones, were trying to do. Those kind of heavy investment infrastructure, big change projects, that's kind of what Petrotrin needed to modernize and become more profitable. Unfortunately, it seemed like no government or no government appointed board could have handled it. C'est la vie. Someone spoke about the demolitions. And what was the name of that trace again? Demolitions in Ramjatan, was it? Was it Ramjatan? The demolitions in La Horquetta. Yeah, Ramjatan trace in La Horquetta. The thing with that now is squatters have it a bit more difficult than they once did, because the what they call them, the commissioner of state lands now, their office, they don't need to guess and go and look for neighbors and come and ask you how long you were on the land, occupying the land, you know. They're using satellite images. And the satellite is dated. All of the satellite images are dated. They have a running picture registry of who was there how long. That changes things a bit. They could see that a settlement is growing. They could see that this isn't as some people want to claim, a settlement that has been here for 40 years. They could see it. And on occasion, sometimes what the case might be is there may have been one family, two families, a couple people struggling out there, and they were squatting there and holding it down for many, many years. And then all of a sudden, a building boom jumped up, and 90% of the residents of a squatting area are recent people. Squatting is one of those things that I find the balance of it a bit interesting and difficult. On one hand, it's extremely unfair for most normal people to have to go through the struggle of trying to get a mortgage, of trying to afford a home, of trying to buy a home, and every time you crack the papers and look for a home, you're seeing it starting with 1 point something, 2 point something, 3 million, and it's not even a mansion. It's barely a normal family home, and they're talking about 3 million. Worse yet, if you want it in a safe area or in an area that has less chance of miscreants stumbling upon you, well, pay through your teeth. And then on the other hand, some people just go sit down on a piece of land and it's theirs. That does seem unfair. There does seem to be a bit of unfairness there. And in terms of incentive, what are you incentivizing people to do? If I could go and squat on a piece of land and eventually it's mine, or I could take a mortgage and pay half of my salary for 3/4 of my working life. If that's the case, between sit down on a piece of land and it's mine, or half my salary for 3/4 of my working life just to get a home, well, I mean, what do you expect a guy to do? But on the other hand of the balance of that, yes, it seems unfair, but on the other hand, how is it or should it ever be that people cannot find a home to live in the land of their birth? What does being a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago mean if you're born not owning a piece of the land and you may die without ever owning a piece of the land? Yes, I know, Ronnie. I know it happens all over. I don't disagree that it happens. But I'm saying something doesn't feel right about it. Something doesn't feel right about it. And you know, a bit of that is at fault because we have changed how nations were formed. Once upon a time, a nation were a people. A nation was basically a super extended family. And if we're all a super extended family, it's understood that distant cousin 5 needs a home. And oh gosh, they'll just go and tack on a home on the end there where nobody is. And that's fine because we all want our nation, our people to live. But when nations no longer are peoples, but nations are combinations of peoples, you don't get that same high trust society. You don't get that same, the idea that the society is trying to help each other out. It's like the more multicultural, the more distant a society is, the more right-wing, individualist, capitalist, every dog see about his own self kind of society you're going to get. And it's difficult. It's difficult. And that's the kind of societies eventually where revolution starts to knock on the door. Revolution starts to knock on the door. Because if I am born to someone who owns no land, no house, and I own no land, no house, and the entry, the barrier to cross to get into owning a piece of land or a house is being a millionaire. And I will never be a millionaire in my life. My parents were never millionaires in their life. I am doomed to the level of society, or I am stuck at the level of society where I am a constant consumer. I can't buy a car, so I'm always paying drivers. I can't buy a house, so I'm always paying landlords. Everything for me to live is to pay somebody else. I can own nothing. Mr. Nibble says HDC. Well, you see, and this is the problem with government, eh? The original idea for HDC was, yes, correct. All of that is supposed to be the case. All of that is supposed to be the case. HDC is supposed to facilitate for the lower ends of society. But when very few people who sign up even get through, that's one hurdle there. Who you know and who you don't know. There are people that live their entire lives on the HDC waiting list and they will never get a call, they will never get a key. That's one. Two, HDC still isn't free, and there would still be a pretty significant section of the country that would not even qualify for the loan that you would get to get an HDC house. And over the last 2 decades or so, the prices of some of those HDC houses have ballooned, so they're no longer really low income houses. And even if you're earning at least the 8,000 per month, even if you're earning that minimum salary, how is your salary tied up elsewhere, elsewise? What else is your salary tied up doing? And then, if you're getting Evening Anderson, if you're getting just the minimum salary and you qualify for an HDC house, and now you're paying that house loan back and you have somewhere to live, and then you go into a HDC house and you recognize, oh my goodness, this house requires $55,000 of repairs just to be bearable. If I want a nice house, it's another $100,000 I have to spend on this HDC house. And I'm not asking you about this. As I said, we do contracting. HDC houses. It sounds like you're saying poor people shouldn't have children. How did you get to that answer? How did you get to the answer that poor people shouldn't have children? Where did I say that? I said that we are living in a system where it's very difficult for poor people to afford property. That's not the same thing as saying poor people shouldn't have children. And you see, I think this modern, foolish, antinatalist culture has made saying something that is so horrendous and vile so normal. You understand that suggesting people don't have children is a genocidal suggestion, right? So poor people should die out.
Well, it sounds like that's what you're saying.
No. That can't sound like what I'm saying. What I'm saying... Go ahead.
Okay, so your gripe is like you're born, your family couldn't have a home. You're born into not being able to inherit a home, and you're not. Well, not that you can't, because some people could. People could afford to do a lot of things. Right. You do have a house, or you do see your way in having a house and one of these things, right? Why are you making... Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it sounds like that's what you're trying to say. Like, why are you making sure like your family, your line will never be able to do anything for yourselves? That's what I heard.
That's not... You... Okay, Margaret Sanger. Okay, Planned Parenthood. You hearing what you want out. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. As if I have to suffer 22 years, I have an HDC application 21 years now and still in the lotto system. And bro, there were especially certain people in the media. Let's not call any names. I don't have court clues. All I have is these mindful jerseys and a fuzzy hat. Certain people in the media, especially, they barely even sign up. Like they just happen to stumble their name onto the list and boom! They have houses.
Well, they become the mouthpieces for politicians, so they will obviously get. But this is my thing. I observe that it is not as difficult as people make it seem, because me and my girlfriend last year was going through the papers and we saw in San Fernando, I think it is, they had a settlement and they were like open house or whatever, and I messaged my girlfriend. I was like, girl, let me go in half on this house, and my girl is in her house. I didn't come with my half apparently, but my girl went and she applied and she got through, and she
what private?
I don't know. To me, I think it's HDC. I think so. I'm not sure.
What? HDC that advertise you apply and get through it in a year and already in a house?
Well, you had to... Yeah, I think it was HDC. It sounds so. It's one of them Sando settlements, I guess, and probably it's not Sando.
What kind of application she made?
A regular one.
You were there with her when she made the application?
I will look back in that chat and send you the...
See if she had an interview. See if she had an in-person interview or something of the such.
Everything was online, me son.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I will send...
That's... You sure about... Are you sure about that?
Listen. I know my friend.
And I know my government. You know your...
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's HDC for sure. But what I'm saying is she was able to afford the mortgage. And now she is living... And she don't, it's not to say like, she's this millionaire or she making tons and tons of money and whatever. She just decided to sacrifice certain things and she decided to move down south. Most people don't really want to move south.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, south. But yeah, and she is now, moved in. I'm so happy for her. And then I realized, okay.
Is she a university graduate?
Yeah.
Do you think the majority of people are university graduates? Yes.
I think so. I don't know. People not going to university. We have free universities,
One, no, it's not free. Two,
but it was free. It was free for a long while.
yes. And two, there are many people who don't reach that level. Many people who didn't get past 5 subjects in CXC. You see, this is what happens sometimes, Ronnie. Right just now. This is what happens sometimes. Sometimes we are encircled in a group. So a simple example. All my family, by and large, a little taller than average. All my brothers and their wives are a little taller than average. So if you in this crew and you walking and these are the people you always see in every day, you could get a feeling like this is the height of everybody on the planet. And then you go to a public event and you're feeling like, why am I looking over everybody's head? And that's what happens sometimes to us. We get accustomed moving in a middle class bubble. Every single one of our friends are graduated from university with a bachelor degree. Many of them have masters. A few people went away and studied, and that's normal in our friend circle. That's not something strange. Yeah, George coming back down from Florida, so and we go and lime on the avenue and so and so and so. You are not in the average category there. Because you are surrounded by that category, you could feel like that's the category, but that's not the average. That's not everyone.
I feel like that's kind of average.
I feel like the average salary in Trinidad is what, $5,000?
Yeah, about that.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Ronnie?
I understand what you're saying, but then I just have to ask the question, right? We have had free preschool, primary school, secondary school, and tertiary for about how much years? 10, 15 or so years? I think, and this is where I can't fault what happens in Trinidad and Tobago solely on the government. I think we have had great opportunities, and if you squander the opportunities, whose fault is that? And even if you didn't go to university, if you went to a trade school, right, let me say, like, you know what, I hated this class thing, I wanted to go and do a trade, and you went ahead and you did your trade, and as I saying, you have to be, you have to not like class to do a trade, because I have a trade, right, you decide to do a trade, right, why don't you have enough qualification, experience, job, or anything that you can't afford to, even if you just buy a piece of land or whatever? Like, I don't have a piece of land. Well, technically, I didn't purchase a piece of land, is what I should say. But since my friend did her thing, I was like, you know what? Let me go to the bank. I made an appointment to speak with whoever in loans or whatever, and I want to get a mortgage in the next 2 years. So I'm like, what do I need to do within the next 2 years to make me qualify for a mortgage? And I think that's, if you really want that, you would do that. But most people in Trinidad and Tobago, they're happy with a car. So plenty of them, they will go to the bank and say, well, how could I afford a car and pay half their salary for 10 years? For a car? Whose fault is that? Nobody.
Ronnie, in the first place, not everyone even has a bank account.
That is true.
Then, those with a bank account, not all of them would qualify for even a car loan. That's why many of these car companies are doing work to own now. Because who do you think goes for work to own? Somebody who could afford a normal car loan by and large? And it is a lot easier to get a car loan than a house or land, because by and large they aren't near to each other. You could get a car for 60,000. Good luck getting a piece of land for 600. Well, in a pretty decent place. You see, I am not speaking here, Ronnie, on victimizing people and holding them in their victim status and, oh, they are so poor and unfortunate. I'm speaking realistically on what causes certain things in society. So, yes, many people, if I could have plugged into their lives like a controller with a game and control them like a GTA character, their lives may end up much better than they're living it right now. That's true. I don't deny that. But that doesn't change the reality of what is reality. If I have IQ is real, people don't like it, IQ is real. It's also genetic. Okay. That's a dangerous road to go down. But if I am not the sharpest person, and I'm in a less fortunate circumstance, I already drop out of school. I started working at a trade now, so I don't have official certification, I just have some years experience. I have no record of anything. To even start, I have to start from the beginning and go and hunt for all my papers and go back to all the offices and make all the appointments. Some of us don't even know how many appointments our mothers, our parents went to in the first 5 years of our lives, so that our lives are pretty well built and situated already. Some people didn't have that. When your parents, when you reach 20 and your parents tell you, oh gosh, but you know how much thing I do for you in your life, and they're stressed out about you already. And then some people reach 20 and their parents didn't do a thing for them. Do you think 20 years of two people working extremely hard on you alone would have a difference? Ronnie, weren't you basically the only one for a while?
Yeah. Yeah.
Both parents gainfully employed, they're homeowners. You are in, to sound like the leftists, you are in an exceptionally privileged class of people. And not saying that other people can't work together and work hard to reach the levels of privilege too, and that's what they should do. But it bears noting that not everyone starts at that point. And the problem that happens in society when you make it more and more difficult for people to reach to that point is you end up collecting more and more and more people. Bernie Sanders. You end up collecting more and more people on that bottom rung. And then imagine on top of that, you're already starting to collect people on that rung where it's just the first step of the ladder is too high for them to reach. And then on top of that, you import a bunch of Venezuelan migrants who go into that bottom level and mix with them too. So they were already struggling down there, and you pour in some migrants and throw some illegal migrants in on top of all of that. What's going to happen down there? And that's the lead up to many revolutions all over the world. If you have enough people in society that are just frustrated and feel like they have nothing to lose. I am not going to gain a home, I'm not going to gain a car, I'm not going to gain anything, so I have nothing to lose. If this society burns down, I have nothing to lose. I don't care, burn it down. You don't want people to be at that level, especially young men. Like, no offense to the young women out there, but if a bunch of you are at that level, it's not the same amount of danger.
Okay.
You understand what I mean, Ronnie?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And of course, I don't know. I just feel like probably, as you say, I am in that bubble. And you know, the strange part about it, I am at the bottom of that bubble. In my group, I am at the bottom. So that's kind of where it's like, okay.
There are levels to this. Now, I always tell people that there are levels to this. You know, I remember reaching at primary school, you reach standard 5, and you feel you reach the top. You know, you're the big dog. You're the top of everything here. Back in my day, there was post-primary in some schools, but you know, I never mind, nobody ain't really taking them on too seriously. You are the top, and then you graduate, they throw you in a whole new place, and you're back to being the small fish in the big pond. That big fish roll gone. And that happens. So, You start in the lower class area. You're building, man. Whatever your hustle is, whatever you're doing it, whatever your job is, whatever, you could afford to move out. You move into lower middle class. But you're at the bottom of lower middle class when you move in there. So alright, you're building up, you're upper mid, and then you reach and you recognize there are levels. Like, okay, you could afford a Prado, right? Entry level Prado, 500,000 or something. Okay, fine. But you see the Prado that guy is driving, that's 1.75 million. There are levels to this. So even in the, like, I always watch that with luxury vehicles. Luxury vehicles have a wide range. You could jump in for pretty cheap, but the top end goes really high. And what happens is, okay, if you on the bottom rung of everything, you can't judge in between that. You see a Prado and a Prado is a Prado. But to them, when you buy the $500,000 Prado and you saw that you couldn't afford the 1.7, and you go into the meeting and pull up and the 1.7 guy pulls up, oh, you know, you understand there are levels to this. So you could be Ronnie. Also, don't assume that everyone who has things got them in an honorable way. Well, of course, that goes without saying. You could be Ronnie in the bubble. Yes, you are in the bubble where you think things are all at this level, but in that bubble you may not be at the top of that level. There are levels to this. More like Trump, my grandfather gave my parents his deed as collateral for homie. Big things are gone.
But okay, fair enough. I had something else about it and I came to get. I was thinking about it all week and then I forget today. That's real unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate, Rani. How does that happen?
I mean to write it down. This week was real like I'm working, I'm supervising, I still have a business. So it's real, oh my gosh. It's been killing me. And then at this call, oh my gosh. The call gone and the cough is still here.
I hear it have some dangerous flus out there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're trying to do. Are they trying to kill out the human race?
Well, some people would like that. I don't know who the they might be, but I don't know. Hey, that's Uma jumping there. I'm waiting for Uma to jump in. I want to know his views on Trumpy saying they're going to take over Gaza.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. You saw the woman, the American woman in Pakistan? I love that one. What's that mood?
No, I didn't see it.
Serious?
Mm-mm.
Nah. If you're talking about popcorn news, that was popcorn news.
What happened? Oh, wait. The black woman?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Yes. I saw that. And and she tell him she not leaving or some kind of madness. Like, oh, my goodness. Goodness me.
Take the station the push you on the plane to go.
Well, yeah, you as a woman in Pakistan, you only have so much say. You only have so much say. And she what she really is lucky, Otis, is that she is an American citizen.
Yeah.
That's what she really is lucky. And probably more lucky that you're an American citizen when Orange Guy jumped back in the office. Maybe if the decrepit one was there, they may not have cared. But
you have to defend your citizens no matter how ridiculous.
Orange Guy was the one who got back Brittany Griner, wasn't he?
No.
Or she came back after?
No, she came back with Sleepy Joe.
Alright.
They traded a very, very...
Right, I remember that. Oh gosh.
The trade did not make sense.
Yes, I remember that. The what they call him by? What's his name by? Oh gosh, I forgot his name. He had a very legendary name. Oh, there's something of something.
I remember that trade.
An arms dealer for a basketballer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
women's NBA basketballer.
It's not even LeBron James. Not even a Steph Curry.
Like,
Understand?
and to to get back in that conversation, people always would have traded for their citizens, especially their women. People would always go for their women. Societies, nations, people always wanted to get back their women. Why? Because women are how you build your society. But
Machine.
Yeah, I know, Junior Dynamite. I know that's what many nations do, but it doesn't always actually happen that way. And the trades aren't always sensible.
At least if you're the biggest country, the big bully here, you would make that kind of trade. Like, they could have got for free.
Well, it's according to how good your negotiation is.
Well, Trump, you would have get you back for free.
And that's the guy, to me, the guy is showing that he is bringing a business mind to this. Abu Malik, I see you. Yeah, he's bringing a business mind to it. And people keep getting lost in the first move. There are many moves in the negotiation. You hear him say 25% tariffs and people go running down the road and that. But no, the move is somewhere three reactions after the tariffs down the road. Similarly, I think that Gaza move was just like that. If you looked at the press conference where he announced that, he announced it right next to the Israeli Prime Minister. And to me, it looks kind of obvious that the Israeli Prime Minister didn't know. It looks kind of obvious that the Israeli Prime Minister didn't know what he was going to announce. So, that to me looks like part of even that negotiation. All right. You all want it. Here's what. We taking it. And let's see what moves would be made then. The White House backtracked on it today, though. Did they really, or did they just say that no boots would be on the ground? Because to me, that's what was said. It's not that they backtracked, really. They just attempted to clear it up because their supporters are very anti-military intervention, so they wouldn't want it to sound like that lest their supporters get very angry. And as for what Panama says, great for Panama. We'll see how it all goes. They are I suppose they are still in negotiation. So, they will be making those statements guardedly.
Nathan, this media sensation that President Trump was on.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I don't have a problem with you want to cut deals to benefit your country, right? But in the bigger sense of things, you're alienating your country at the same time. Because the Europeans, the United States cannot bully the whole of Europe.
Yes, they can.
Let me deal with this in a kind of unbiased kind of way, right?
Why can't they?
If the United States decide, you know what? We big and bad, we're going to take Greenland by force.
Uh-huh.
By force.
Uh-huh.
You really think United States on its own could stand up against France?
Yes.
Why would France really jump?
Yes.
Denmark,
Yes. Yes.
United States could not even invade Iraq and Afghanistan.
Well, here's the difference, Abu Malik. Abu Malik, here's the difference. You're talking about two different styles of war. They have those styles of war written down. What do they call that? There's a word for it, uneven. Basically, when one is a superpower and one is insurgent style. So the US style obviously cannot win against insurgents because they're trying to change hearts and minds. So obviously they can't do that. But if you're talking about in the old time style of conquest, if the United States wanted to obliterate Iraq, they'd have done it before lunchtime the first day. If they wanted to obliterate Afghanistan, likewise.
Hollywood, Nathan. This is the thing about Hollywood, Nathan. I think Hollywood have we a little over embellish about the capabilities of the United States when it comes to military, especially, right? If they were that tough, they would have already dealt with Russia. If they were that tough, they would have already dealt with Russia. They're not that tough. This is
what do you mean dealt with Russia? You see, you're not understanding. Deal with Russia how? What are you going to just now, Abu, just now? What are you going to deal with Russia to do? To conquer their land? What are you going to deal with Russia to do?
The only explosive the United States military has not dropped on Afghanistan is a nuclear weapon. They have dropped every single thing else, including experimental weapons. And in the last Trump administration, he dropped one of the biggest experimental bombs in Afghanistan.
Yes.
Right? So they have dropped everything on that land other than a nuclear weapon.
And
yet still, they could not subdue those people.
But you are making my point, Abu Malik, because bombs don't change people's minds. If they wanted to kill all of the Afghanis, they would not have struggled to do that. They are trying to do a battle on hearts and minds, and that is what cannot be won. But the idea that somehow Hollywood is what has tricked us about America. No, you could look at the numbers. You could look at their weaponry. You could look at how much they spend. It's magnitudes different. This isn't about, sucking up to America or watching them like they are the good ones. No, it's about being realistic here. It's like watching the Romans back in the day and their legions and saying, well, all you feel Roman all that big on it because there's no.
You do know the Romans were defeated, right?
How were the Romans defeated, Abu?
The Romans were defeated, right?
How were the Romans defeated, Abu?
But the Romans were militarily defeated by the Ottomans. They were defeated by the Ottomans. Constantinople was toppled by the Ottomans.
You're talking about after the kingdom split and was waning.
Isn't the United States splitting right now? Is the United States stable right now? Let me relate. So if this conflict was taking place in Trinidad politics right now, right? United States political structure is split right now. United States isn't that far away from a civil unrest. It isn't that far away from a civil unrest.
The United States, as with many other countries, they are heavily divided politically. But that's not the same as a split, because all of their divisions aren't along geographic lines that can pull into two different directions. James Sanders says technically he's right. The US depends a lot on their allies for strategic military positions around the world. Yeah, with their soldiers there. Go look at the standing army of all of Europe put together and tell me what they are.
Do you know what Germany invested to rebuild their military under the last Trump administration after he made his outlandish statements? After Germany was banned, after Germany was banned from having a military, German government decided enough of that ban. We will be rebuilding our military. So it's not like the world cannot respond.
I didn't say the world cannot respond. I am not saying the world cannot respond. I am saying that the power imbalance is magnitudes different. And if Germany invested 6 years ago to rebuild their military, you think they're going to rebuild it to match the US military?
But a combined Europe will match it. A combined Europe will match it. And yes, many lives will be lost, I agree.
A combined Europe, there's no military strategist on earth that says a combined Europe matches US military strength. Show me that military paper.
I just wanted to make a point, not too much on what they're talking about technology, but it reminds me of a few months ago. I think it's New Zealand girl who did the hacker in the British Parliament. It was somebody who did a hacker in a parliament. And basically people were saying, the United Kingdom couldn't defeat people. So now why are they trying to put pressure on the people for whatever reason? And that's the thing. These bigger countries, more developed countries, it's not that they can't defeat people. If they wanted to, they would. They could. If they didn't mind killing everybody, they would. But they don't want to. Because, genocide is bad and whatever. So they're not going to kill out everybody. So what they do is they decide to make agreements or make treaties or whatever and come to some level of a conclusion. Right? But that doesn't mean that they don't have the ability to wipe your face of the earth. They absolutely do.
Well, Abu, let's make a wager on it. Let's make a wager then. Just a gentleman's wager, not anything serious. Do you think that Trump moving American might around is going to put the US in a weaker or a stronger position? You believe weaker?
I believe it's going to put them in a weaker position.
Let's check back 2 years from now. Let's check back 2 years.
Yeah. And the reason I'm saying that is because not every nation is willing to bend to them, and they will lose military bases in some strategic.
It's not about being willing to bend to them. You see, it's not about being willing. It's about being able. And that's where they are fighting them. It's not willingness. It's ability. So, okay, you may not be willing to do it, but can you?
But let me give you some reference. The drones and the bots on social media and the news entities who they have in the pocket pushing the talk that Mexico and Canada folded. This talk in Mexico, when you get the Mexican president come out and talk, right? They agreed to put 10,000 troops on the border. But there's already 15,000 troops on the border. And they just agreed to 10,000.
10,000 more?
No, it's not 10,000 more.
So they're going to drop the number by 5,000?
Exactly. And what else we would like to be?
Wait. That's what you believe.
That is not what I believe.
Wait, I am asking if you believe it. I am not asking just if they say it. I'm asking if that's your real belief.
I believe the president of Mexico.
You believe that Mexico had 15,000 troops on the Mexico-US border. Wait, let me finish. During the Biden presidency, and now they're going to decrease it by 5,000 for Trump.
This is the thing.
No, this is the thing, man. I'm asking if that's what you believe.
The man is not as intelligent as
okay, I am not asking that, Abu. I am asking if you believe that.
I choose to believe the Mexican president.
All right.
I could choose to believe Trump if the war.
Okay, you choose to believe that there were 15,000 Mexican troops on the border while wait, Abu, wait. While there was the highest amount of border crossings between the two countries. And wait. And the cartels were functioning freely. And now that they're dropping the number by 5,000, the number has dropped by 97%. Okay.
Nathan, as I say, you can believe Trump administration if you choose to believe Trump administration. That's okay. As pertaining to Canada, last year, and even pull up news reels with this, Canada agreed to spend a certain amount of money on border security. They just agreed to the same thing again.
Not that. They agreed to implement the plan that they announced last year. So here's my question. Wait. What?
So where you win is the same agreement.
No.
You want achieved.
Wait, Abu. Listen what I'm saying. If Canada, all through the previous 4 years, invested nothing, and now that Trump is making a threat directly aimed at this, they're investing there. They announced it last year, and now they're insisting they're going to hurriedly implement it. You think that all happened coincidentally?
I not assuming or thinking anything. I am.
But you're thinking. You're thinking. You choosing what to believe. You are thinking. I'm not talking that.
Here's the thing. Everybody choosing which side they want to believe in. Everybody choosing which side they want to believe in. That is the thing, right? But I am saying, me, if I is a boss, and I trying to put pressure on all my allies and my closest neighbors, and the neighbors are doing the most trade with, of course I would thump my chest to seem like I had the biggest car and the biggest truck.
But wait, but Abu, what you're talking about? I'm looking for that news, and I'm seeing here Mexico deployed 10,000 troops that weren't there. They sent them. That's what happened. So how could they deploy 10,000? Wait, how could they deploy 10,000 troops that were already there?
That is not what the Mexican president is.
Mexico deploys first of 10,000 National Guards. This is February 5th. Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. A line of Mexican National Guards and army trucks rumbled along the border separating Ciudad Juarez and El Paso, Texas, Wednesday. Among the first of 10,000 officers Mexico has sent to its northern frontier. What?
Listen, I go with what the Mexican president said. I'm not going with what the media pay nowadays. I go with what the Mexican president said.
So wait. Trump go and lie to make himself look good. But the Mexican wait now, boy. But the Mexican president will never do that.
Well, listen, right? Either side has to choose to believe which lie they want to believe.
Well, I am showing you the evidence. There are pictures of military vehicles and army men in a convoy. Wait, Abu, in a convoy heading to the border. So you're saying the pictures are lying and you still believe the Mexican president?
Let me ask you a question. You think I can't go and pull up pictures for something and plaster it on a story?
So they're making up those pictures.
I asked you now. I using Trump. Let me use Trump.
Are they making up those pictures, Abu?
Let me use Trump thing against him. Fake news.
So they're making up those pictures. You know, I am looking for this Mexico president statement and I'm not seeing it. What did you say she said?
That's not it.
Because I am seeing nothing of her saying that she's sending 5,000 less troops and there were 15,000 already there, and now she's only sending 10,000, which is less than the 15.
But this is the thing though, like, why are people upset with what America chose?
You know, I'm not upset. I enjoy the show that they actually lighting a fire for themselves from inside.
I don't see it as lighting a fire because if you are trying to protect your lowest base.
Who is he trying to protect your
I'm saying, just a win. I'm talking about, like, especially with the Mexican situation, illegal immigrants are your lowest class of citizens, right? As we were just discussing with the Trinidadians who can't, we were just discussing that before you came. Your lowest class of citizens will be affected most by illegal immigrants. So you're trying to get them out. Then they bring in drugs that affected a lot of your citizens. In the last couple of years, the drugs in America was really terrible, right? So if you
can we be realistic about the drug
if you try to, well, let me just finish saying. So if you're trying to put an end to that, or you're trying to encourage the other countries that surround you to do better with regard to one, immigration, and two, drugs, what is the problem? And if they don't want to obey, or if they don't want to do what is right by you, then you who have the stronger arm, would you not say that you go in and pressure them?
Saying that and putting cartel activities on the shoulders of immigrants, as if immigrants have the power in the United States to allow the cartel to operate and function in the United States, is delusional misinformation.
Okay, so you don't believe that cartel members could have slipped in with regular illegal immigrants?
Ronnie,
I'm asking you a question.
cartel members don't have to slip in. They're functioning. They don't have to slip in.
So how they crossing, Abu? You know, Abu, you're saying you don't care and it don't bother you, but you seem like you're on our side because we just now, let me finish. Because you're denying evidence and obvious things. That's wait. That's to me when you see ideological buy-in. When evidence and obviousness is denied. So troops and personnel carriers being announced on every single different news, including Mexican news, that they're sending the first tranche of the troops that they promised to deflect Trump's tariff. They're sending them out now. You could read that. There's no, I am searching, I am yet to find the Mexican president saying that she had 15 and she dropping it to 10. There's no story like that out there. But somewhere you read or saw something that seemed to suggest that regardless of the evidence otherwise, you're going to hold on to this narrative. That means you're holding on to that narrative because you buy in to that narrative, not because the narrative convinced you.
I'm going to ask the question now. Where's the evidence that illegal Mexicans are the ones responsible for the cartels functioning in the United States? The cartels who have operations in many states.
You want the evidence?
Are you trying to tell me right now that the U.S. law enforcement self, right, are the ones allowing the cartels to operate, and it's the immigrants allowing the cartels to operate and supply the gangs with narcotics? You trying to
That's not what is being said. You want me to say it? You want me to explain where the evidence is and how they know?
Tell me the evidence.
The immigrants say it when they cross the border. Because in order to cross the border, they need to pay the cartel. So, they enrich the cartel, 1. They owe the cartel, 2. So they become smugglers and part of the smoke and mirrors for the cartel. It's not that they are all evil and plotting with the cartel to do all of these cruel things and that's what the migrant. No. It's that it's that the chaos that needs to be there to facilitate that amount of illegal crossing allows for the cartels to function. So if you're saying the law enforcement are the ones who are facilitating it, okay, well, a new law enforcement chief has come in and he is saying he wants to stop that facilitation. And how do you stop the facilitation? Well, part of it is ensuring that you don't have chaos on the border.
Nathan, are you telling me a ton of fentanyl or 100 tons of fentanyl a year walking across the border on the backs of illegal crossers?
No. What I'm telling you is they have video and there are reporters that basically set up camp on the border and they show the cartel releases a tranche of children a mile down the road here. And the children walk to the fence and call to the border agents. And the border agents under Biden were instructed to process them. So this is tying up a whole band of border agents there. And while you see that there, they show you a video of cartel members in a van peel out and cross. Those are numerous.
So, alright, cool. I understand all that. But again, I'm asking you. So the 100 kilos, let's say 100 kilos pass across in the van, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are trying to tell me that the tonnage that they are saying is crossing the border, the tonnage that they are saying is crossing the border is crossing in that manner?
No. But some of it is. So it's like in Trinidad. Abu, in Trinidad, do you think some of our criminal activity is being facilitated by Venezuelan migration? Ooh, I hear the crickets.
Yes, it does.
Woo!
You turn Trinidad is doing crime and selling drugs and
I didn't ask you that, Abu. Abu, I didn't ask you that. Abu, don't red herring me. Don't red herring me. The question I ask you is, do you believe some of our criminality, yes, we are criminals all on our own, but do you believe some of our criminality is being facilitated by Venezuelan migration?
a small percentage here.
Small.
Yeah, I'm saying a small percentage.
Okay.
Don't do like Tobago now and try to blame somebody for your dirty work.
I'm not blaming anybody for anything.
What happened to you today? What happened?
I am not blaming anybody for anything. It's just that, for example, now, if somebody comes and says, somebody comes into power, let's say somehow Kamala wins the next election, and she comes and says she's going to try to cure the criminal problem in this country, I wouldn't be surprised if she starts at the border and says we have to stop allowing illegal Venezuelan migration. Those pirogues filled with illegal Venezuelans coming in. If a human could come across, can't a gun and drugs?
Nathan, we've been getting arms and ammunition from Venezuela before I bought.
Exactly. That's the point. That is the point. The same kind of facilitation that brings up the same wait. Bear in mind, the people are crossing illegally. So that's trafficking. That's human trafficking. The same kind of criminal enterprise that facilitates the human trafficking is what will facilitate the drug trafficking and the gun trafficking. So if you are trying to get a clamp down on all of it, it makes sense that the first place you tackle is closing the border. Duh.
I understand what you say. I understand.
You find the Mexican, and where you find a Mexican commenter, because I searched for it and I'm not seeing Claudia say anything about that. Claudia, up until the most recent statements, said nothing of the like, as far as I could see.
That Mexican on the border drug narcotic smoke screen, I understand that smoke screen, but at the end of the day, the reality is the real tonnage of drugs not crossing on nobody back or pickup truck. It is not.
How it crossing?
They're driving right across the legal borders where all the border and customs control is, who don't get paid, who don't get bribed, and they're driving up the freeway and going to wherever state that to go later. That is facts.
All right. Well, as I said, we will see if they close down the border and fentanyl still pours in. Well, then you'll see it's a failure. But you know what is very likely, and I won't be surprised because I'm seeing it now. We could look on 2 years from now, fentanyl has dropped. It's that thing of the past. Nobody is crossing illegally. Things look up and they're going to say, but because you bought into I hate Trump already. You bought into anti-America so much that it's kind of swaying the ideology.
Drugs that are usage change over time. It isn't heroin anymore.
You see you hedging your bets already, eh? You see you hedging your bets. Don't hedge, Abu. Don't hedge. Don't hedge.
It's going to be something else later. It's going to be something new.
So in other words, you're really going to beat fentanyl, so they'll have to switch to something else.
What? Same way heroin is not the major issue again, it's fentanyl now.
Yeah, but the thing is, under Biden, the previous administration, the fentanyl continued. They didn't even try to switch because it was flowing freely. You have to work on comparison. You can't compare it to perfect because nowhere is perfect. And in that case, where we started this discussion talking about, you have yet to prove any of those things, showing the real negative kickbacks from this. Yeah, Panama jump in and say, wait. Panama jump in and said, well, no, we didn't agree. We didn't agree to allow their military boats to pass free. All right, maybe that might be true. We'll see how that negotiation continues. But I know I saw the Panamanian president on video with a paper, reading nervously, like a child in trouble in front of class, talking about they're looking to close down their deal with the Belt and Road Initiative. Talking about, let me finish. Talking about they're looking to close down their deal with the Belt and Road Initiative when the deal ups, and in fact they're looking to come out of it even before that time.
Nathan, I sense some bias in you when it comes to United States.
Nah, I am not. I don't particularly like them. I always say the United States steals from us. But the thing that I don't understand is why people who aren't American citizens are wishing that the United States continue on their empire run. This new United States is acting like all selfish countries act. They're squeezing people that they can squeeze and making deals where they can make deals. That's what all countries do. The idea that the United States is supposed to be the magnanimous, caring one who always makes deals in the favor of the smaller guy, that's an imperialistic thinking. That's the thinking that the United States is the big daddy of the world and we look to them when we're in trouble and help in America. No, I don't want that. Trump, see about earlier. See about you first. I'm glad for that.
I like the idea that he's arrogant enough to try and set fire to the allies. I like the idea. It is
set fire to their allies. Like, I don't even see that as it. What I see it as is the United States was in a previous position where they were basically like an empire. They worked imperially. They worked as the center of the empire, and the allies worked as offshoots of the empire, benefiting from it. What they are saying now is they could no longer afford to continue doing that. And the reality is, the reason they could have afforded to continue doing that in the first place is because they were printing dollars and stealing value from all of us. It's ridiculous to me to see people line up and ask the US to continue stealing value from the entire world by printing more money. Because that's what they're going to continue doing. And that's what this new administration is attempting to stop. They're working, bending over backward, trying to cut back on their budget because we can't spend like that. We can't afford, the US is saying, we can't afford to keep doing beneficial deals where Canada has hundreds of millions of dollars of plus on the trade deficit to us. We have to even the trade. And evening the trade would allow them to balance their books, which means they don't need to print more US dollars, which means US dollars aren't going to fluctuate in value depending on what they do, which means because we are tied to the US dollar, we don't have to go and dig things out of the dirt to sacrifice value to the empire of America. It's ridiculous.
That is never going to change Nathan and this government's move away from the US dollar.
No, you see, Abu, you're not understanding the economics. Abu, you're not understanding the economics. You just spoke there and ignored what I just said. I just explained to you how the system works. The reason the US prints money is because they're constantly spending more than they make. This government is saying they're looking to make more than they spend. The actions they are engaging in are actions to reverse the idea of spending more than they make. What are they engrossed with Canada about? What are they engrossed with Mexico about? What are they engrossed with Panama about? It's not just the guns and drugs and illegal migration. Canada barely has illegal migration, and it's not a whole lot of fentanyl crossing from Canada. What are they engrossed with Canada about? And why, tell me this, Abu, answer me these two things. What are they in a grouse with Canada about? And why would you be on Canada's side for that?
Do you know that all you talking about the trade deficit, right? You know Canada is selling oil, gas, natural gas, whatever it is, selling to them at a subsidized price, not even at international market prices.
Do you know why?
Well, just no. You know that, right?
Yes, and I know why.
Why is that?
Because Canada has sour heavy crude that they cannot refine on their own. So they have to send it to the US refineries. They have no refineries. So even if they cut the oil, like they were blustering, they're going to cut the oil. They have no refineries to refine it.
The United States can shale and produce more shale oil than everyone as they claim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they do it?
Exactly Trump's point.
You know why they're not doing it? You want me to tell you why they're not doing it?
Tell me.
Because how expensive it is to do it.
Do you know why it's expensive, Abu?
Why?
Regulations. You're speaking about the guy's campaign without understanding it. That's why his campaign, his main statement was, we're gonna drill, baby, drill.
The United States pays no one market price. The United States pays no one market price, Nathan. When Trinidad and Tobago was supplying the entire eastern seaboard of the United States with natural gas, they were not even paying little Trinidad and Tobago market price. They pay no one market price for their resources.
Right, just now, don't let us point leave.
Yeah, Rani.
This is very much what Trinidad and Tobago should have done when we were the big boys in the Caribbean, which is look after ourselves. Instead, we decided to look after the Caribbean, and it hurts us to this day. We have decided to write off this for this one and do that for that one, and in the end, now that we are kind of not at the top, everybody laughing at us. We are the laughing boys of the Caribbean, and I believe that if we had taken this approach that Trump has decided to take, which is put America first, which is we had put Trinidad and Tobago first, we have been in a better position. So I think for now, I don't disagree with what the man is doing, right? He said they're going to drill because back in how much ever years ago, they were worried about global warming, to drill and do this and move away from oil and gas and all kind of shippiness, right? I definitely don't like immigration, illegal immigration, that is. I don't like it. I think the idea of it is stupid to have the even to put in your mind that somebody should accept it just because they're bigger is absolutely trash. Like, that doesn't work anywhere in the world, and we don't like it for ourselves. Think about every single thing, every point you ever make against whatever Trump doing. Think about, well, what if Trinidad and Tobago decide to take this position? Would I like it or would I dislike it? And if you find that you like it, then probably you shouldn't be so upset with them. You have plenty anti-Trump people when you put it on them.
Ronnie, did the same Trump administration, through the United Nations, force Trinidad to give Venezuelans refugee status? Didn't they do that?
I can finish what I'm saying. Before I forget, you know I have a fish brain. I've known you just be on this life too long to not know that I have a fish brain. Anyway, and I don't forget what I'm saying away, boy. Right, plenty anti-Trump people, when you put it to them, however, I think I said that fast, they, oh gosh, boy, Abu, why would you do this to me? Why? But anyway, to answer your point, I agree. We were kind of bullied to give Venezuela, what is this? Refugee status.
So, Abu, if you don't like what the UN did, then you should be happy that he stopped their funding.
It was done through pressure from a Trump administration.
Okay. Bear in mind that last administration still had USAID, it still had UNRWA, it still had all of those additions that he did not like. This time he came in And he did differently. He didn't want all of those people. He does not want the empire finished. That's at least what he says. So he's defunding all of them. So if you have a problem with the UN forcing us to take refugees, the person you're supposed to like more is Trump. Biden and those guys were on that globalist message of take all the refugees. Ask yourself why many people migrate to the US and what was the US's role in their country's destabilization. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. That the people who migrate to the US are just there because the US destabilized their country. No, your country was destable. Your country was unstable. All the time it's not the US fault. Many of the times it's not the US fault. What was happening to humanity before 1776? How all those humans were warring and killing each other all along the way? Was America in the water back then? And Abu, I notice you keep ducking the concrete things. I asked you, what was the US's grouse with Canada, and why would you take Canada's side in it? You didn't answer either of those.
What was their grouse in Canada? Because I was under the belief from the information I saw that the US was claiming they had a trade imbalance with Canada. A matter of fact, to a deal that was made under the last Trump administration that scrapped NAFTA. A deal that he made when he scrapped NAFTA. So the deal he came and complained about in this administration is the same deal that he made.
You mean the deal that was better than NAFTA for the US, but just not as good as he wanted? So you see, this is the thing. No. You see, this has nothing to do with excuses. It has to do with understanding something. So you're telling me this guy wanted no immigration, and when he came in, he did a deal that changed the immigration from 5,000 to 2,500, and now he come in again and he want to change it from that deal at 2,500 to 100. You see, he really like immigration. He who do the 2,500 deal. No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't add up, because all of them was heading in the same direction. And again, you're not telling me why you would choose Canada's side in that. Why is Trinidad benefited by Canada having a trade imbalance with the United States? How does that benefit Trinis?
It didn't benefit me in no physical way. As I tell you before, I just like the fact that
James Sanders asks, why don't Chinese flock to the US? Why don't Germans or Canadians or Swedes or countries that have limited US economic influence? James, look for the net migration numbers for all of those countries. Which direction has net migration? And tell me what the number is. All of those countries. And tell me what the number is. Yeah, you were saying, Abu.
Excuses to me, right? The excuses that you're using is real basic. Come on, you're talking about a trade deficit, or they benefit that side, the trade imbalance not fair. But the trade imbalance not fair on an agreement that your administration sat and negotiated and agreed to.
As it was bringing down from the previous one that they found was worse. What's hard to understand about that? For example, he wanted troops out of Syria. He wanted no troops in Syria. He attempted to negotiate. Wait now, go, Shabu, listen a bit now, man. He wanted no troops in Syria. He made that statement clear. He attempted to negotiate last time to get that happening. And what happened? The generals lied to him.
Nathan.
Abu, don't you read news? Abu, wait.
To tell me, right? So the generals in the United States military mutinied. Disobeyed the commander in chief and left military in Syria to steal oil, which there are satellite pictures showing trucks leaving, going from Syria to Iraq. Oil tankers.
Yes.
The United States president had no knowledge of this activity taking place. Are you trying to tell me?
I don't know whether he had knowledge or not. That's not what I'm saying. I am talking about his pursuit to decrease the troops in Syria and get them out. The generals confessed and made a public thing of lying to him, saying they were fighting, they were the resistance, fighting Donald Trump and his move of dictatorial control. That's what happened.
Nathan, they never left Syria.
Are you not listening to me, Abu? Are you not listening to what I'm saying? He wanted to leave. He drew down the troops. There were less troops. He wanted to pull fully out. They lied to him and he remained. Now, when he comes in, he is saying again, they're going to pull fully out of Syria. If now he starts making a move to pull fully out of Syria, you're going to say that's hypocritical because the last time he was there, they didn't fully pull out. No, that doesn't make sense because all of his moves were in the direction of getting out. Similarly, with the trade with... Wait, let me finish. Let me land the plane. With the trade with Canada. Since the last time he was speaking of the trade imbalance and that the original Mexico-Canada deal, what the US-Mexico-Canada, it had a name for it, Canada deal was very unfair. Yes. It was very unfair to them. So they have to make a change to it. He and all would say that a lot of the staff worked against his administration in doing what they wanted to do. That's why when they came in this time, the first thing they did was fire all of USAID. They're firing nearly half of the FBI. They're buying out all the CIA workers to go home. They're attempting to shut down many different agencies and administrations. Why? It's like you don't follow these things and then you're talking. Have you never heard that side of politics in the US talk about the deep state and battling the deep state? The people who were put into those positions that were not elected, that now have a career in the Homeland Security. And it's their vested interest to keep their pet projects running. And now, after he got that first time and got stabbed so many times in his back, he came in again and the first thing he brought was a buzzsaw. So, the last time Trump was there, he didn't cut USAID. This time he's doing it. Is this just hypocrisy now? No. It's that they figured some things out.
Alright, but, I mean, Nathan, I'm sorry to say, but nobody can convince me that the US president didn't know his military was in Syria moving oil from a refinery. Nobody could convince me of that.
Do you think the US president knows what all US military is up to?
So you trying to tell me the entire
No. I asked you a question though.
Sense, Nathan, what you're saying is impossible.
I'm just asking a question.
The entire military chain of command was traitors.
I'm just
convince me of.
I'm just asking a question.
That's not possible. I don't believe that. That's not possible.
So you do not think that the US military that is stationed in nearly every country in the world could carry out operations without the US president knowing?
Of course, but not for that prolonged length of time, Nathan. Don't do that.
What prolonged length of time?
They're still in Syria, Nathan.
Exactly.
Still there.
Exactly. I don't deny that. So, answer me this, Abu. When the general said that Trump wanted the troops out of Syria and they went around him to keep the troops there, do you think the generals were lying to make Trump seem better?
I don't know.
Okay. And if those generals were lying to make Trump seem better, why then did Biden, when he was leaving, give preemptive pardons to all of them? If they would have been lying for Trump's benefit.
I don't know the internal politics, Senator.
Oh, and if then there were Trump allies willing to lie to make him look good, just to make him look good, why then would he pull their Secret Service? Why would he pull their protection? The only thing that he has control of now, because they are pardoned, he can't investigate. He pulled their Secret Service protection and blanked their clearances so none of them could access any government building anymore. Why would he do that?
If everybody else in the world know your military that you in charge of in a country lock down a refinery and pumping fuel, how come you don't know about it? You are CIA, NSA, and wherever else.
You're not answering me though, eh? You're not following my reasoning.
That logic not making sense, Nathan. That logic not making sense.
You're not following my reasoning. You see, while I'm holding your hand, walking you down the logical path, what you're doing is you're grabbing your hand, running back to the top of the street and saying, "This ain't making no sense." No. Wait, Abu. Hold my hand and walk down this logical path. So, if those generals were lying to benefit Trump, why is he attacking them now?
Right? Everybody, I can't talk about the internal. I don't know, but the obvious is his military. The obvious is what I can talk about, and the obvious is everybody know his military stayed back in Syria, a portion of them, and was pumping oil and gas out of a refinery. Everybody know that. That is not secret information. That is knowledge, public knowledge. Like, he alone didn't know when he was president. He was the only one in the whole world didn't know that.
I am not saying I don't know what he knew. That's not what I'm talking about. And if you're talking about what I'm talking about, what I think you're talking about, there was a time during his presidency where he announced they're pulling the troops out of Syria, but we're just leaving a few back for the oil. I remember he said that quite clearly.
Exactly.
He said that. He said that.
So he knew.
Right. And then after that oil business, he said we're going to pull all of them out, and they lied to him.
Who pocket the oil money was going in?
I have no idea. I can't answer that. That it may be the Saudi family, it may be Jared Kushner. I have no idea. I can't answer that. And listen, I am not arguing here that Trump is a paragon of virtue or he is the second coming of Christ or something of the such. What I'm saying is, as a foreigner, as a Trini, who's linked to the United States, is that we are linked to the petrodollar. So every time the US prints more money, we have to dig value out of our dirt to give it to them as what do they call that in empires when you have to give to the main empire? As tribute. Every time they print more money. So it's in my interest to get somebody there that wants to balance their books. How does balancing the US books look like? So James was speaking quite a bit, Saunders was speaking quite a bit in the earlies about the reason the US does all that money stuff is to get their way in foreign and to get their way going out there. It's selfish by nature. I don't doubt that. But bear in mind, the US isn't a single entity. The US isn't one man. So something could be selfish for a certain group of oligarchs, while it's not selfish for the entirety of the US or another group of oligarchs. And what they're saying now is their selfish interest now is in holding their own. And to me, as a foreigner linked by the US petrodollar, that is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear about free college and free healthcare in the United States when their books are not balanced. I don't want to hear the United States giving millions of dollars to feminists in Pakistan to do gender theory. I don't want to hear the United States funding atheism across Asia. I don't care for that.
I fully agree with all that. Fully. 100%.
So then, why are you against Trump?
No, I know. Listen. As I said before, I'm glad the guy doing what he doing, and I not vexed doing what he doing. I'm glad he doing.
You're saying you're glad he's doing it because you think that's self-destructive. So you think it was to the benefit of the United States to spread atheism across Asia and transgender through Latin America?
I don't know what has been the motives to doing whatever they're doing, and that US aid what was using to influence societies. I don't know what is the motive behind that. Whatever that weird moves they used to make.
Their motive, but they tell you their motives. They were ideologues. These people told you this over and over and over. The most important things to them are climate change, abortion, and gay rights. Nothing else is important in this world. And you are trying to tell me we want the gay rights, abortion, and climate change people instead of the guy that wants to balance their books. What kind of insanity is that?
How long family planning in Trinidad, Nathan?
Since the 60s.
Since the 60s. So since the 60s, United States government has been sending money to influence the population.
Correct.
Right? Correct. I have no problem with that stopping. I never been trust family planning to begin with.
But Abu, don't you put it as credit to the person that is willing to take a buzzsaw to US policy that was there since the 60s?
Do you think he's not going to do the same thing through another channel now?
I think he is going to attempt to do influence, and his influence is more overt, and that's what I'm saying. I want the US not to act like the big daddy imperial power that could just come to their USAID office and send a signal. No, come like every other country does it. Send your diplomat and tell me that you want to take back the Panama Canal because we built it. Fine, at least we know where we stand. Don't come and tell me, well, actually what we want is to spread democracy and make sure all the gay people... Boy, go from here. I rather the clear diplomacy of telling what you want. Make it much more clear. That's how it should be. That's how men negotiate. This kind of effeminate, wrong the back kind of thing that they kept doing all this time. Me and what that? And I don't understand people that would argue for the defense of that. I don't understand what makes people think that was a better alternative. Why? Why do I want US spending our value all about the world on nonsense? Yes, it is our value because we are linked to the were you here when I explained how the petrodollar strips our value?
We literally paid to trade in that US on that petrodollar. We are paid to trade on that dollar. That is not to our benefit.
Exactly. And it's not just a one-time payment. We cannot print US dollars. We have to buy it. How do we buy it? With the value that that's why I'm saying dig out of the earth. Whatever value we can create on this piece of dirt, we use that value and give the US to get some US dollars because we need the US dollars to do international trade. What does the US do to get US dollars? Print it. And we're trying to see a set of people that's so woke all of a sudden in the Caribbean are trying somehow to say that they would prefer that the people coming to power in the US that have the policy of printing more of it and having no way to replenish it. What?
I don't believe it matters who is in power, whose administration is in power will make a difference for us.
Would the United States make more money by drilling their own gas?
That depends on OPEC. And that is what I was trying to tell you.
Wait. Didn't we just say that the United States will be the biggest producer?
Yes, but
So it will not depend on OPEC. OPEC will depend on them. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, finish, sorry. My bad, finish.
Because of how expensive it is, right? So the type of extraction they have to do is way more expensive than the extraction done by other countries. OPEC, I was listening to one of them economists, financial people talk the talk, right? Listen to exactly what he was saying. OPEC has a profit margin that is as low as 10 US a barrel. That is their profit border. They could go all the way down to 10 US a barrel. They could literally flood the market. Saudi and OPEC could flood the market with oil if they choose to do and crash the prices.
Yes, they have done it before.
And that will make it unprofitable for the United States to do the type of extraction they have to do.
It will make it unprofitable for them to sell it internationally.
Well, yeah.
But right now, they buy. So, I would ask the question again. Would drilling their own oil make them more money, regardless of what OPEC does?
If they intend to stop importing, yeah, sure. If they intend to stop importing.
So, another question. Would the US make more money as a wider country? Would their profit margin come more reasonable if they decrease their spending?
Yeah.
So the government and administration that is all have you seen the debt clock? The US has a debt clock website. The debt clock website recently installed the Doge clock, which is reverse. The administration that is working to decrease spending in the most public manner ever seen, while already influencing to increase money-making ventures. You think that would have no difference?
It should have a difference.
And if there is a difference, who would that benefit us or disadvantage us? Us, Trinidad and Tobago, I'm speaking here.
I don't know if it will benefit us. Paper-wise, it should benefit us.
All right.
Paper-wise, it should.
So
on
on paper, and this is all I'm saying because I don't know off a paper. I am not Nostradamus. I am not that kind of prophet. I don't know what's going to happen. But on paper, this is why I am saying it makes sense to me if I am to support, because I can't really support and I'm not voting for any. That's the side I will choose. That's the one I want to see more. I want Elon to cut more. Cut all. If US spending goes down to zero, I could hold a parade and wear the Star-Spangled Banner and march through Frederick Street. I am happy. I don't care for you all college free. I don't care. That does not help me. I don't want you to give Canada preferential trade because you don't have enough money to do it. And that is what Trump is saying. He's speaking as an American. We don't have enough money to continue spreading happiness about the world like we did before.
Wow, happiness already spread though. Okay then.
When I say happiness, I mean money. That's what I mean by spreading happiness. Money. I don't mean actual happiness because we know that.
Honestly, I think the US dollar is a trap.
It is.
I believe it's a trap. And as much as people might not accept that, I think states need to move away from tying themselves to the US dollar.
And you know what's funny? The US, what is he? Secretary of State, the new one, Marco Rubio. said that in the next 4 years, sanctions and embargoes should be irrelevant because the US would like to move away from the unipolar world to a multipolar world. He basically said the same thing you're saying. They don't want it to be that they're the big daddy for the whole world. Let everyone be their own daddy.
Yeah, but Trump still don't want people to stop trading in the petrodollar.
Exactly. Because that's in America's clear economic benefit. And I would like that. I don't mind that. You're working for your benefit, so now we could see clearly. You see, all the time we had all this smoke screen about actually they care about us. No, we're seeing clearly this is for your benefit. And now the benefit is clear because it's a capitalist. We don't have to wonder about your other weird causes inside there that you would benefit from. No, the benefit here is money. The previous benefit was they wanted to sway your culture and change your acceptance of LGBTQ and change the amount of women in your workplace and all that kind of thing.
Let me answer this.
Yeah.
Let me answer this. During the last contract manning administration, he wanted to start selling more natural gas to Europe than the United States. Right? And it's something he wanted to do because the prices were better. Right? What has Trinidad benefited from selling decades of gas we sold to the United States at a reduced price? What have we benefited from it?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. Not difficult, but a strange question to answer in that we benefited by getting some money. And more money than our neighbors because our neighbors didn't have any. But I understand when you ask that question, you're talking about comparable to how much we could have or maybe even should have benefited. And we didn't benefit close to as much as we could have or should have benefited. And I agree with that. I am not saying that the US is our most caring ally or anything of the such. I don't know that to be true. I don't think that is true. And now I understand also there's a reality in that, and we see it going on right now in Guyana, where as a small fish in a big pond, you handling your own resources on your own becomes very difficult. And this is a reality. As I said that because I jump in there because it reminded me of another thing I remember as we're closing an example that I'm thinking about here. It happens even in market. If you are a farmer and you are a small farmer and you don't own a vehicle and you go to the market to wholesale your goods, those market retailers are going to shaft you. The bigger you are, the more you could push around your weight, you shaft them in return. And that's, if anybody knows those markets run brutal. I know of a farmer, I do my little planting here and there, man that wears many hats. I know of a farmer, a guy, he didn't have a vehicle, he was planting a relatively small plot. He planted some sweet potato, the crop did really good. But he has no vehicle. So he hired a van to carry it down to the market to wholesale it off to the market vendors. Reach early. Some market vendors buy it, the kind ones, the rest, leave him right there. Because by the end of the day, if you still have sweet potato, you have to pay the transport to carry it back. And then you'd have to pay the transport to bring it back again to sell it. And they know that. So they'll wait till the day closing down and the sun going down and the sea start to sweat a little bit and they come and tell you, well, hold on 50 and give me that. And that's where Trinidad and Guyana and countries like us find ourselves. We find ourselves in the whole of 50 and give me that. Because what else are you going to do? How were we going to force through a deal to switch to the EU? even if we wanted to make that deal happen, the US could have gone and spoken to the EU and crashed that deal right there if they wanted to.
Same way when they applied to be a part of OPEC, it was blocked.
So that's kind of always the case. The old people say it, who have more corn, feed more fowl. C'est la vie. And to me, I rather you act like you have the corn you have and you are aimed at feeding your fowl instead of mama guy we with gay rights and climate change and all this nonsense and still be robbing us blind. In fact, robbing us more. We're working more and the US is extracting more resources from the world, and the only thing they give in turn is gay rights, abortion, and climate change education. Like, why I care for that? Trumpy, do your thing. And I don't somehow assume that, he is going to for sure get rid of. I don't know. Maybe he might really fail. I don't know. But to me, this makes a whole lot more sense.
Let you do your thing now, man. I enjoy the show,
But you think they're going to crash because they're burning allies?
It wouldn't be immediately, but
I think those allies weren't allies. They were vassal states, and now they have to actually start acting like allies. You're not a vassal state. You're an ally. Act like it. Pay your fair share and work in an allyship. If you don't want to pay your fair share and be an actual ally, then become the 51st state as he told Canada.
I don't think it have allyship doing business with the United States. Ally is just a word in the front of the thing. It's bullying. It don't have allyship, it's bullying.
Well, now it is.
Some people might not be everybody. It might not even be the majority. And people just get fed up of bullying at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And you might burn the wrong bridge at some point in time. That is the thing.
Yeah, but somehow the idea that bullying is automatically going to fail isn't necessarily so. Because those bullies, the empire people, as you spoke about the Ottomans, how long the Ottomans bullied the whole middle of the earth? I know they do, but how long did they do it for?
Well, that is the whole thing. They've been doing that how long now? 400 years? How long?
No, the US hasn't been the top empire since they started. The US might claim top empire status since the First War, World War I, when Europe impoverished itself and allowed the US to make ascendancy. So that's 100 years, 120, 110 years.
Right.
There are empires that lasted hundreds. You have been under the oppressive boot of this empire since your father. That's a tough thing. And those happen. And those bullies stayed for a while. Now, granted, they don't stay forever. And we know that. And especially if you're someone of faith and you're talking about on that universal time scale, we know this. It's not going to last like that all the time. We know. That doesn't mean it's not going to last for a while. Bullies could be there for a while. And the Disney movie where the child who was bullied stands up to the bully and wins the fight isn't what always happens. Sometimes you stand up to the bully and they beat you.
I think it will be the child, it will be generations on the road.
It might. We'll see. I think though, the moves so far, I think Mexico is going to fall in line. I think Canada is going to fall in line. I think Panama is going to fall in line. I don't know if they're going to win on that Greenland deal with Denmark, because I don't think Denmark is going to give up Greenland. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Talking impeachment talk already.
Well, they don't have the House or the Senate, so that's irrelevant. I think I think with that Middle East stuff, you didn't even talk about the Gaza. I think with that Middle East stuff,
We know the results of that later. We know the results of that.
I think what he's trying to do, to be honest, I think what he's trying to do is similarly with the tariff. And I mean, if you read the guy's book, The Art of the Deal, he kind of sells out what he tries to do, the big ask. So you make a big ask in the start, and what that's going to do is it's going to force people, all players, to actually move to the areas they are actually willing to give up. So if I tell you I'm going to crash your country if you don't do this, we'll see how much you are actually able and willing to do. If Israel wants Gaza, Palestine wants Gaza, and I say, well, we taking it. Well, I guess we'd see what Israel and what the Palestinians are willing to do differently than they did before. I don't know if it's going to work, to be honest. I don't know if anything is ever going to work in that area. But he says he's trying to try something different to see. So that would happen. We would see. That we would.
Yeah.
The suggestion...
We know the outcome of that.
The suggestion he's making is something like a fairy tale, like a pie in the sky. Because it's no US troops, no US money, somehow getting the Arab nations to pay for the United States to control and rebuild and reorient the area, while the Arab nations take care of the Palestinians. I don't think you're getting any Arab nations to go along with that idea. I don't even have to say I don't think so. They already announced it. Jordan and Egypt said that since he even dreamed it, they said they're not going through that. So we'll see how that all goes.
They will find, if they had to find a deal, they had to find a deal. If they can't find a deal and it had to be done by force, we don't know how that's going on. Right? These people would rather be spots on the ground.
Yeah, they do.
Than give up their land.
But it's obvious right now. And that's why I say it has to be some kind of attempt to negotiate. Because the idea, he's saying that they never had a choice. And you know, if they had if you give them...
If negotiation not that difficult, they already had an agreement. Even though everybody, some people on both sides that don't want that agreement, but stick to that agreement, which was, when was it, in 1967 or something, made that deal with the PLO, the two-state, stick to that agreement, right? Or, yes, we know on both sides have people that are against it and don't want full state, we know that. But
the problem with that is they would have to enforce that. And nobody on Trump's side wants to send American troops into the Middle East. Well, let me just say nobody. Because that's not true. There are many neocons and the Republicans still. But the populist MAGA Republicans don't want troops on the ground in the Middle East. So how are you going to make Israel stay where you tell them and make the Palestinians stay where you tell them?
That is the thing. They don't want to be under the Israeli thumb. They want to have their own state.
And Israel does not want to give up. Israel does not want to cede any land. Both sides kinda want it to go how it's going. Not really, but kinda, you know.
Yeah.
That's why it's that way. Israel, at least the more extremists on that side, would prefer the Palestinians keep fighting in the way that the fight keeps going, so they could kill all of them and get the whole thing. And the Palestinians would prefer to keep fighting because they rather die than give up.
Here the dangers of that. If Trump was to move to that exact thing what he said, the conflict will now spill out of that region. It will spill out of the region. It won't be confined to that region anymore.
And,
it will be a wider conflict.
And listen, the Arab nations do not want Palestinians. And this isn't a racist statement.
Well, why should they want? Wait.
No. Wait.
To move from their land to come.
We're not just talking about the geopolitical considerations of them not wanting the Palestinians to move out because they don't want to give the Israelis space to move in. They also don't want the Palestinians because they don't want the Palestinians. And they have a history of why. You see, as with everything, it gets more complex. Yes, they may be fellow Arabs, but that doesn't mean they are the same people. Or
these people, the other Arab countries know that moving them out of that land, it won't ever have peace.
And they will bring war into their own land.
Exactly.
The Palestinians are notorious for being more on the extreme end of their beliefs.
The Arabs say the most stubborn people they could meet is Palestinian people.
So you don't really want to have to deal with them on your land either. And why should you? Like, okay, it sounds bad. But if I have... Well, in Trinidad, we should know this, Abu, we should know this kind of reality. If you have, and you might have, some family and you know them fellas is hothead. You know them fellas. If you go out with them fellas, we bound to get in a fight. I do all it wrong me. Yes, you are my cousins. There's one love cousin, but you like to fight too much. Or your head too hot, me want to line with all you. But at the same time, I'll support you if somebody trying to kick you out of your property. So.
At this point, they need to just kind of pat down Israel a little bit and then go back to the deal. The two sides antagonize it, but they need to pat down the bigger side a little bit and go back to the deal. They need to do that. Because it will never, ever, ever, ever have peace there. Ever. If the people don't get
you know, a statement Trump made in that's reality, is it never had peace there. Like, on the grand scale of time, it never really had peace there. There are many peoples, tribes, civilization buried in the sand in that area. That Fertile Crescent region, they've been warring, and maybe they might continue. That's all we have for now. It's midnight already, well, after midnight. That's all I have for now, people. Abu, anything to say before we dive out there?
Yeah, well, I just sit, taking it in, sit back and enjoy the show. You know? The flights I have to take when I'm over the red, white, and blue, I wouldn't be landing there. I'm going by the red and the white, I'm good.
All right. You go through.
That's why you know.
Take care they end up as a 51st state.
They're too hot right now, boy. Oh gosh. You're back to my Chris. They're too hot right now.
Me blame you though. Me blame you at all. Alright, people. I hope you're educated, informed, and entertained. This has been the Mindful Life. You'll be here again next time for the next live session starting that's the day. Later. Until then, people. Later, wait, let me see all these comments on YouTube. Men have to live. That is a brilliant idea. Please be specific. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. Correct. Whoa, correct. The cartel is not about drugs, hence cartel. Good night, folks. Whether we agree or not, Trump is on the surface, at least putting American policies or agendas, please. All right, YouTube, thank you guys for tuning in over there too. Appreciated, very appreciated. I see you, Atalia. Appreciated. Laters, people. I am out. Bye-bye.